The real question is not, was Jeffrey Epstein a weirdo who was abusing girls? Yes, we can answer that. The real question is, why was he doing this, on whose behalf, and where did the money come from? And those are the questions that need to be answered. I think it's entirely fair to ask them, and it's not adequate to say anyone who asked them is somehow desecrating the memory of little girls who died in Texas. Are not going to put up with that answer. I don't care who gives that answer. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried.
You're not allowed to go commit crimes on our soil as a foreign nation, and we're just supposed to shut up and take it. I don't care if you're our greatest ally. There is an enormous preponderance of credible evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was working with Israeli intelligence. Let me just go off the top of the dome. Jeffrey Epstein's madame, the procurer of the entire sex trafficking operation, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, was Mossad. Got a state funeral in Israel. The Israeli prime minister at the time that was eulogizing him said that the benefits to the state of Israel that Robert Maxwell gave, the story will never fully be told. The guy literally arms trafficked, war trafficked, broke every Geneva Convention imaginable on behalf of that state. That's just a matter of historic record and fact. That's Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. Jeffrey Epstein's pseudo-father was Bill Barr's dad, who was a founding member of the OSS, which led to the creation of the CIA, who hired Jeffrey Epstein at the Dalton School, even though he didn't have a college degree, who wrote a book about how you can rule a planet through pedophilia and in trapping the population through blackmail. He wrote the book. It's called Space Relations. Jeffrey Epstein is raised by the CIA guy. Ghislaine Maxwell was raised by this Mossad guy. They put them together, and then lo and behold, what happens next? Well, multiple Israeli prime ministers literally lived with Jeffrey Epstein. Ehud Barak's one of them, but he's not the only one. There are many emails connecting Jeffrey Epstein to his ability to open up resources and opportunities in Israel. Just so happens that Jeffrey Epstein bragged about being a CIA agent. The CIA is not allowed to run ops on American soil. Now, that's not saying that they don't. Of course they do, but that would be a big time naughty thing for them to do. They're a clandestine organ of our federal government. They are not supposed to do that to American citizens. So let's go with the Boy Scout answer here and ask yourself this. Who would benefit? Which intel agency that's not allowed to operate in America would benefit from an island in international waters to do their crimes on? Bueller? Anything?